You are watching Assembly Line B7. Shenzhen, November 2024. Electric vehicle battery production. The export manifest shows a shift. 10 years ago, 60% of these batteries shipped to one destination. Today, that number is 12%. The factory manager reviews the numbers. He does not look concerned. He does not call meetings. He does not reduce production. He increases it. What brought him here began 11 years earlier. On a stage in Kazakhstan, with a 14-minute speech nobody in Washington was listening to. September 2013. Astana, President Xi announces the Silk Road Economic Belt. Investment began within months, hundreds of billions, highways through Pakistan, railways across Southeast Asia, ports in Greece, Sri Lanka, Kenya. But watch the timing. 2013. China exported $440 billion to the United States, more than to any other destination. American consumers bought Chinese products. Chinese factories employed 300 million workers. Chinese banks held $1.3 trillion in U.S. Treasury bonds. Then Xi launched Belt and Road. By 2018, investment rates climbed to 42% of GDP, twice the global average. Infrastructure, technology, alternative markets. But here's what's strange. The money flowed to countries that could barely pay it back. Pakistan, Kenya, Sri Lanka. Governments with debt problems, not economic strength. Why invest $1 trillion in markets that cannot afford your products? Picture the port, Hambantota, Sri Lanka, December 2017. China Merchants acquires a 70% stake for $1.1 billion. 99-year lease. The port had been nearly empty since opening in 2010. Fewer than 200 ships per year. Annual losses. By 2024, over 2,000 ships. Chinese vessels receive priority berthing. Every ship that docks creates demand. Chinese logistics. Chinese financing. Chinese trade relationships. By 2024, Chinese firms operated 95 overseas ports. They built or renovated more than 10,000 kilometers of railway every year in Belt and Road countries. Cumulative investment reached $1.2 trillion across 150 countries. Malaysia needed high-speed rail. China built it using Chinese technology, Chinese standards, Chinese maintenance contracts. 30-year dependency on compatible equipment. Pakistan's power grid required expansion. $28 billion worth of Chinese-built plants. Chinese turbines, Chinese engineers, Chinese parts. When Kenya needed telecommunications, Huawei installed it. The protocols are Chinese. The software updates come from China. The system cannot run without Chinese upgrades. Each project created obligations that extended beyond construction. When you build the highway connecting two countries, you influence what moves on that highway. When you operate the port receiving the ships, you decide which ships get priority. Trade followed the infrastructure, and the infrastructure set the terms. By 2024, Belt and Road countries absorbed $1.7 trillion in Chinese exports, more than the United States, European Union, and Japan combined. This is infrastructure-driven market access. This is when a country builds the roads, operates the ports, and controls the standards. The customer cannot switch suppliers without rebuilding everything. Britain, 1850s. The empire laid railways across India. British gauge, British locomotives, British maintenance. Once installed, India could not buy German trains. The infrastructure locked in the supplier for a century. United States, 1950s. The Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe. American equipment, American protocols, American trade relationships. The reconstruction created dependency that outlasted the loans. Same structure, same outcome. October 2022. The United States restricts sales of advanced semiconductor equipment to China. Export ban targets machines from ASML, Applied Materials, Lam Research. The goal: prevent China from producing chips for AI systems and military applications. Analysts predict Chinese chip development will stall for a decade. It slowed. It did not stop. Picture the lab. Shenzhen, September 2023. Huawei engineers test the Kirin 9000S processor, 7-nanometer architecture, developed inside China, produced inside China, using equipment that was supposed to be impossible to replicate. The chip powers the Mate 60 Pro smartphone. The phone launches with no announcement. The same technology used for smartphones can power AI models. The same process builds chips for guided missiles. The breakthrough was not the smartphone. The breakthrough was independence. By 2024, China's semiconductor industry employed 450,000 people. Domestic chip production reached 60% of consumption, up from 16% in 2019. Since 2018, Chinese firms invested $550 billion in research and development. The government subsidized strategic sectors: semiconductors, electric vehicles, batteries, solar panels. The subsidies created overcapacity, deliberate overcapacity. This is state-directed industrial surplus. This is when a government accepts lower returns in exchange for market dominance. Production exceeds domestic demand. The excess must move outward. When you produce more than domestic markets require, exports become mandatory. When exports undercut competitors on price, market share grows regardless of profitability. BYD, China's largest automaker, produced 4.3 million new energy vehicles in 2024. Tesla produced 1.8 million. The difference was not demand. State capital accepted losses competitors could not match. Chinese solar panels supplied 80% of global installations. Chinese batteries controlled 70% of production capacity. Chinese steel exceeded the next 10 countries combined. Western competitors faced an impossible choice: match Chinese prices and lose money, or maintain prices and lose market share. Either outcome advanced China's industrial position. Japan used this for steel in the 1970s. South Korea for shipbuilding in the 1980s. China applied it simultaneously across multiple sectors. By 2024, Chinese manufacturers led global production in electric vehicles, solar panels, batteries, steel, rare earth processing, telecommunications equipment. Not through comparative advantage, through deliberate industrial policy treating short-term losses as long-term positioning. Suddenly, everything clicks. The Belt and Road infrastructure created 150 new markets. The subsidized overcapacity filled those markets with products the West could not compete with. The semiconductor independence ensured technology sanctions could not stop production. This is the customer swap. Export dependency shifted from concentrated markets to distributed networks. Infrastructure made the markets accessible. Overcapacity made Chinese products unavoidable. Technology independence made the model sustainable. 3 mechanisms, 1 system. Consider the arithmetic. In 2000, the United States bought 21% of Chinese exports. High concentration, high risk. By 2024, that share fell to 14.7%. But total exports did not fall. They rose from $249 billion in 2000 to $3.4 trillion in 2024. The volume expanded, the concentration decreased. Southeast Asia became the largest trading partner, not America. ASEAN countries imported $519 billion in Chinese goods in 2024. European Union, $466 billion. Latin America, Africa, Middle East, over $200 billion each. When you sell to 100 countries instead of 3, losing access to one country costs you 1% instead of 20%. The execution took a decade. The math was simple. When new tariffs arrived in 2025, Chinese exports to the United States fell 8%. Total Chinese exports still grew 5%. The dependency equation inverted. One customer at 15% of sales instead of 21%. Their leverage decreased by 30%. Infrastructure across 150 markets made losing one market survivable. Which brings us back to Shenzhen. February 2026. Assembly line B7 runs at 110% capacity. Same workers, same robotic arms, different destinations. The batteries shipped to Indonesia, to Brazil, to Egypt, to Vietnam. The export manifest shows the United States, 11%. The factory manager reviews the numbers. Production will increase next quarter. He still does not look concerned, because the system that protected him was not built in reaction to tariffs. It was built before anyone knew tariffs were coming. The question is, what else did they build that we have not seen yet?